Brand new week in the city of Chicago. Time for a new episode of the Give Me the Hot Sauce podcast. We hope all the dads out there had a great Father's Day. What'd you guys do on Father's Day? Your sons treat you okay, and your daughter as well?
I tried to remove a stump out of my yard.
Oh, that sounds like fun on
with
Father's
an
Day.
axe. Oh, it was a great time.
90 degrees
Yeah.
with an axe.
It was tremendous.
Just
work.
out there
My whole
frying
body
and
hurts.
turning red.
Yeah, turning all
getting
red,
more
sunburned.
red again.
Yeah, it was great.
How about you, Stacey?
I refuse to do anything on Father's Day.
There you go.
This
That's
is
right.
The only day that gets recognized, and it really doesn't get recognized.
Well,
My boys came
because
over.
it's if you're married, what it's called.
What's it called?
Mother's Day, dia, as in
No,
number 2.
that ain't right.
Oh, because they make all the plans. I didn't make any plans. She invited people over. We had a barbecue. Of course, I'm cooking. I'm like, this is very
You
relaxing.
got to cook on Father's Day?
Yeah.
That ain't right either.
Jeez, we didn't get invited.
There it is
See how
again.
you see how that slipped? You saw that slipped out, Mark? He just casually said, she invited a lot of people.
Yeah.
Hey, Maureen, if you're listening, which I doubt you are, you know what?
Yeah, but I didn't make the plan.
You know what, Maureen, this is where our friendship is gone now. You knew, Maureen went to go see Chris Brown. Who got a Chris Brown ticket? Me, in a suite. And now she has a barbecue for my best friend over here and doesn't invite his best friend, the black guy. There were nothing but white people over there yesterday because I refused to serve ribs. I refused to serve baked beans. So I don't
good
get
job
invited.
last time, though.
Shut your ass up, man. My kids came over. My son, Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. He barbecued.
Did they bring anything?
He brought some. No, he cooked it better this time. He cooked it better. So he barbecued and brought it over. The other two came over. He gave me a nice little present. I can always count on Brandon, one of my youngest ones, to always come through for me. He always gets the best gifts. So
that's great.
So he got me this. It's like one of those things, like the video game with the eye thing, but it's a massager,
Wow.
and it has like a heater in the eyes, and then the massage thing goes from temple to temple, and it plays music and it vibrates. Man, it's awesome. So it's perfect for when I go on a plane. When I want to go to sleep, I can just toss that thing on, and I mean, it looks like a Cyclops. It looks like one of those little Cyclops, but it's pretty cool. And he always comes through. Now the other two. Absolutely freaking nothing. They didn't even get me a card. And then I'm in there cleaning the kitchen. I'm like, wait a minute, this is Father's Day. I ain't cleaning the kitchen. These ain't even my dishes. I'm like, nah, man. Nah, y'all gotta come down here and do some work, bro. You gotta come do some work. So shout out to the other two, Eric and Garrett, you bums.
How about you, Mark?
Yeah, I met the kids right across the state line. They both live in Milwaukee, so we made the drive up. Went to the Cracker Barrel right on Highway 50. Had a nice little lunch and little gifts and a couple hours and then head back home.
Gifts.
Nice.
Gifts. His kids, if my kids are listening to this podcast, Mark's kids gave him gifts.
That's right.
Well, my daughter gave me a nice gift, a bag of some Lululemon stuff, and then Austin shows up empty-handed, and then I think he called his wife and said, "Hey, better pick something up on the way."
Yeah,
got me a golf coupon. So
my wife came through too. She bought me some new shirts and ties. She said, "You got to get some new ties. You got old-fashioned ties." Taking care of me.
See, Mark, I didn't want to say anything, but since we brought it up, they were a little old. I'm going, way to go, Sue, way to go, way to go, way to go. Way to up your husband's gear,
That's
baby.
right. I'll be ready for the upcoming bowl season and at Channel 7. I got a lot of work coming up this summer. What about the Heat? What was the hottest summer you remember back in Oklahoma?
Oh, Lord. Oh, hundreds, like 108, 110, easily. Working construction when I was at the University of Oklahoma, huh?
Digging those ditches, the red clay.
Let me tell you something, man. Digging ditches. We were building the racetrack, Remington Park racetrack out there, and so my job, I'm going in there to get way down, like 20, 30 feet deep.
Just when you were on scholarship?
Yeah, I was on scholarship. Yeah, I was on scholarship, man. They listen when they put the guys who weren't all conference and all world in the dirty jobs, and I always got the dirty jobs my first 2 years.
Yeah.
So that I said, you wait till I turn junior. You wait till I'm a starter. I will never do this again. I will be in the air conditioning for the next 2 years. So I used to have to get out way down like 30 feet in the Oklahoma red clay. I'm telling you, Mark, it's the worst dirt ever because you can never get yourself clean. You can soak for hours, shower, soak in the tub, and you still got dirt on you. It's just gross. And so I used to have to. They put the big pipes in, the pipes that people be skateboarding in, those huge pipes. I used to have to use the stamper as they put them down to get the red clay up on the side to keep it balanced. Man. And I'm telling you, have you ever had one of them damn things hit your toes? Oh, Lord have mercy. That's no joke, America. That's, woo! But that's a hard job.
Worst job I had was in college. It wasn't as hard as that, but we were working at a park, and they had this river that ran through the whole park. So people would throw bottles and cans in there and all kinds of shit. And so all summer we were in charge of making sure this little creek that ran through the whole park was clean. So it's like 95, 100 degrees.
Yep.
You're out there trying to pull all this crap out of there. Logs that had lodged in that had floated through. It was awful. At that age though, you just try to power through it. But man, it was real hard work, and I hated it.
I thought Mark was going to say he was a Chippendale dancer.
No, that was Tim.
Yeah,
right. No, not Tim.
They call that character building, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What did you do, Tim?
The hottest ever would be Arizona, of course. I mean, it was 120 degrees.
Yeah, but you weren't working.
You weren't working.
No, I was at the pool. It was great.
Red as ever, America. Red as ever.
The worst I ever heard was Elon Musk. I don't know if you ever heard the story. His first job in the United States was cleaning out these big vats, and he could barely squeeze into them. And then he'd get in there, it'd be 120 degrees, and then he'd have to clean them, and he could barely squeeze out. Just sounds like the worst job you could possibly have.
Well, it's like that TV show, The World's Dirtiest Jobs or whatever.
Oh, yeah, awful stuff.
We should one day have that on our show, talk about one of the dirtiest jobs we ever had. Well, I got some stories. Ooh.
Well, we got Game 5 of the NBA Finals coming up tonight in Boston.
I guarantee it's over, America.
Hoping to pop some champagne today.
It's over. Guaranteed it's over
getting
tonight.
Embarrassed in Game 4. That was kind of a weird game. They didn't show up in that one.
Well, that was a pride game. That was a pride game for the Mavericks. If you get to the finals, you're not supposed to get swept. No team should get swept in the finals. You're the two best teams. So the pride factor came in. I give Dallas credit. They played a flawless game. And it looked like Boston was just like, let's just wait until we get home. We'll win it at home in front of their fans. That could be a mistake, though, because if Dallas comes out and plays the way they played, in that game at home, that could cause some problems. And then you talk about pressure bursting pipes. If guy comes out in Boston not making shots, Jayson Tatum.
Somebody rolls an ankle.
Somebody rolls an ankle. I don't know. Somebody said, I read where somebody said Porzingis was going to try to play tonight.
Going to try, but
sit down, Porzingis.
Yeah,
it's over, man. Sit down. Just celebrate with your team when they win. No need for you to go out there and he's the type of guy to go out there and re-injure and be missing all next season. Mm-hmm. Just sit down. There's nothing you can do to help us. You got us off to a great start in game 1. Sit down, relax, get that leg healed up for next season. We can win this without you.
Jayson Tatum said something kind of curious in the media availability on Sunday. He goes, well, the pressure's not on us on game 5 because, if we don't win that, it's not the end of the world. We got 2 more chances. I tell you what, they lose at home in game 5, then they got something to worry about.
Well, that's the kind of attitude you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
You're a superstar player. It's like, we got to close this game out. Yeah. We gave a game away in Dallas, gave them some confidence. We're coming back in front of our home crowd where we should win, and we're going to celebrate in Boston. Board up the windows, do whatever we got to do. It's party time in Boston. We're closing this thing out. That's what superstar players do. You don't go, well, it's not the end of the world, and, woe is me, we're not done. They win another game, we're still up.
That's not the attitude you want.
No. And if you have that type of attitude, imagine that spreading throughout the locker room.
He's their best player.
He's their best player.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a terrible attitude. Mark, I wish he wouldn't have said that. Now, I guarantee the Mavericks going to win today. I guarantee game 5, America. Oh, man.
Well, some team will be the first.
The other thing he said, he was talking to, it was a one-on-one interview with Malika Andrews, and she said, how important is winning the MVP trophy? Because Jaylen Brown is clearly the favorite to get that right now. And Jayson Tatum says, well, it would mean a lot to me. I am not going to lie. So, everybody's trying to promote this conflict between Brown and Tatum, which really doesn't exist. But Tatum said flat out, I want to be the MVP. I mean, that was so he's going to be shooting a lot tonight.
Well, every star player wants to be in that. At the end of the day, you got to win first. But everybody wants to hold that MVP trophy, be talked, get an interview in front of everybody. Jaylen Brown has been their most consistent player, throughout this whole playoff series. So if he continues to play the way he is, it doesn't matter what Jayson Tatum does in this game. I think it'll be Jaylen Brown wins the MVP of the series.
So if Boston closes it out tonight, that'll be the end of the NBA season, and immediately attention shifts towards the NBA draft, which is a week from Wednesday. It's going to be a 2-day event this year. First round on Wednesday, the 26th. The second round is on Thursday, the 27th.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? There's only three rounds.
Adam Silver and the people that influence him decided there would be a bigger event if we stretch it out over 2 days. But nobody cares about the second round.
That's terrible.
Anyway.
No one cares. Yeah, when it goes to the second round, they bring in the deputy commissioner. No one's listening.
And they also are going to have it in the afternoon because they didn't want to run into the debate, which is supposed to be later that night.
Oh, just listen. Back in the day, that was different when you had 6, 8, 10 rounds.
Yeah.
You got 3 rounds. And, 2 rounds. It's really 2 rounds. End it. Put us out.
Remember the Bulls took Carl Lewis in a draft 1 year, like in the 10th round. Like
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I'll tell you
for his
what.
singing ability.
His singing ability, because he was horrible. And we were at that game. It was the worst. That was the worst rendition of the national anthem I've ever heard. I just wanted to say, "Come on, Cross, sit down."
Yeah.
First, he come out with a loud red suit, look like a can of Black Flag, and then he gets out there and he starts to try to act like Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, say, can you?
He even stopped himself in the middle.
Yeah,
going,
wait a minute. Let me make it up to you. I'll do better. I'll do it. And we were all, man, I mean, guys had a jersey over their mouth. Guys were crying. It was almost worse than Fergie. When Fergie did it was way worse than Fergie. Because Fergie's a professional singer, and you can see that happen to a professional singer. Her voice goes out or whatever. But when you get a guy come up there and all the antics, he's out there dancing, he's out there, whoa, whoa. And I'm like, oh my God. And he just blew it. It was hilarious. Hilarious.
And Maurice Cheeks was in the news. Speaking of anthem singing, he stepped in to help the young lady who kind of froze and did a good job. He's going to join Tom Thibodeau's staff with the Knicks now.
Is that guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
Is that a lie? Is that true? Like, because I heard it was a rumor that he was going to join this.
I don't know if the contract's been signed, but our guy KC reported it, so I think it's pretty safe.
Wow, that's a big. I mean, the Bulls have a whole rebate.
New staff almost completely.
Wow, I mean, there's not any holdover basically, except for the guys who were the second tier guys who are now moving on the bench.
Yeah.
The younger guys, and then they got head coaches on the bench as well. So they're revamping their coaching staff, and let's see what happens after that. They're still, Chip Schaefer. They let Chip Schaefer go,
right?
And then my guy Arnold, the other trainer there, he's gone. So they're cleaning cleaning house a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in this draft, what's going to happen in the players' movement. I saw Lonzo ball dunking the other day, look really, really explosive. It's my son was like, "Well, that was probably from 2 years ago." I'm like, "No, this is recently, man. This is."
Well, we're all rooting for Lonzo.
Yeah, and it's good to see. It's good to see him do it. He must have had like 3 dunks, but he couldn't even do that 2 years ago. So there is hope that he's going to come back. And it's going to be interesting. What do you do if he comes back? What if he is healthy? What if he can go and play, 60 games? What is his team going to look like now? Are the Bulls going to rethink getting rid of Zach? Are they going to, rethink about, the DeMar DeRozan situation? I mean, you're going to bring that whole team back because now we got our point guard back. We were one of the best teams when he went out. So maybe it wasn't a fluke.
Hey, we got something special coming up in our next segment. We're going to be joined by Kendall Gill and his son, Phoenix. Phoenix Gill is a star guard at St. Ignatius High School in Chicago, entering his senior year. And last week he announced he's going to go to Northwestern. He's going to play for Chris Collins. So we're going to talk to both of them. That's coming up in just a few minutes. But first, I want to talk more about the Bulls. I read a really interesting article today. I don't know if you've met Will Goetlieb. He works for CHGO Sports. He's one of the writers. He follows every practice, every game. He's always there. He does a great job writing for their website. And he also does a podcast with our guys, Matt Peck and Big Dave over at CHGO. And he wrote an article today talking about the whole situation about the offseason. What are the Bulls going to do? And one of the fascinating things was he said, according to a source very close to the Bulls front office, that they had multiple trade offers for Alex Caruso at the deadline last year, including one that would have given them a top 10 pick in this year's draft. But AK and Mark Eversley decided not to pull the trigger because they're getting pressure from ownership to make the playoffs. That's in his article.
Wow. Well, I will say this. I mean, Alex is going to garner a first-round pick because he's that important to a team. I mean, look what Drew Holiday did for Boston. He could do the same thing for another team and elevate their defense to the point where they're a championship caliber team. The thing that, you had to be really careful about with him is that this is not a really deep draft. This is not a good draft to get. There's people willing to get rid of the top 10 pick this year. It's next year you don't want to get. Next year is when AK and them want to get involved in that top 10 pick next year. So if that is available next season or this coming up season, that's something you have to look at. But this year's draft, not saying any of these guys, Mark, and we heard, Ricky talk about it last week. It's not saying that these guys can't be, factors or star players in this league, but are there superstars in this league? There's a lot of guys that can help teams and elevate teams and be really, really good contributors, but you never know how the draft's going to turn out. You never know how it's going to do. The 24th pick can end up being the best player in the draft. You go back and you look at
Especially
Donovan
this year.
Yeah, you look at Donovan Mitchell was a guy went lower. You know, the Taj Gibsons of the world, Jimmy Butler of the
Giannis.
world, Giannis of the world. I mean, and Jokic was a second round pick. You know, so you can't really say that this draft is bad. There could be some gems. You just got to do your homework on the guys that you're taking and find out what your needs are. You know, what are your needs? You know, and then you get the best available player. Like the Bulls will have what 11?
11 right now.
11. Somebody's gonna slip, and I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm going out on a limb right now. If Terrance Shannon Jr. slips because of this situation, now he's been acquitted and everything, and he's, you know, all the charges were dropped. And those, I'm gonna tell you something, America. If any person, any woman, false claims rape, they should have to go to jail 5 years. You have to stop this. You really have, because you're ruining people's career. You have to put a stop to this.
Did you see the details of that game?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And they basically told on themselves in Texas. That's how silly college girls are. We got his ass. Yeah. Okay, so obviously he didn't do that. But this is a kid who was probably going to be a top 5, top 10.
It's going to hurt his draft status regardless.
Yes, yeah. So he's going to be a player unless he has a super workout, which I would think he will because he's athletic enough. I think he will have a great workout, and teams will interview him and see that he's not a bad kid. And now that this is behind him and he's been acquitted and all charges have been dropped and he's innocent, they can't hold that over his head now. So, but he could be a player that could slip to 11 as a small forward.
He'll definitely be there at 11.
Yeah, and he, in my opinion, is the best available player in the draft. And when you're looking at 1 through 15, he's a top 10 pick. It's like Io should have been a first round pick, but he slipped to the second round for whatever reason. He's in the second round. Bulls got a first round talent. So now, if this works out, if this kid slips down to 11, you got a lottery pick, you know, at the 11 spot.
Yeah. The other decisions that the Bulls have, of course, are going to be about free agency and what they're going to do with DeMar DeRozan, what they're going to do with Patrick Williams. And one of the other points in Will's article, where he was focusing a lot on the future of Alex Caruso, he said the Bulls could extend him this summer, but in order to do that, it would be like $95 million over 4 years. It would start at $17 million, not for this year, but the year after. He was saying in his article that Caruso was considered so highly by contending teams in the league that, you know, teams are willing to pay that. So that the best time to trade him might be now, because you got contending teams that would give a lot, and you always worry about his injury potential.
Yes, that's my biggest concern with AC is that he plays so hard. The commitment to giving a maximum effort, diving on the floor, he puts himself in harm's way. You almost have to protect him from himself. I mean, every game he comes into is a game time decision this year. You know, you don't know if he's going to play or not. It's like we got to wait till the game starts. He gets out there and runs a little bit before we know if he's going to play or not. And the guy is so valuable to this team. You can only imagine, as I said earlier, you can only imagine like a team like Boston had him, or Golden State, or some team that need that one guy that can completely shut down someone 1 through 3. I don't like him guarding 4s and 5s. I think you know that has to stop if you're the Bulls. You have centers to guard centers. He should never have to guard, you know, big guys. You know, the LeBron James is in the post. He should never have to do that. He should guard guys his own size. And I think you cut down his injuries if you played him like he's supposed to be played. But he's so valuable. He can guard 1 through 5, and he wants that challenge. He always wants that challenge. He doesn't care who it is. I'll guard Giannis. I'll guard LeBron. He wants that challenge, but Billy's going to have to protect him from himself, you know, because you can't afford to lose that guy. When he's not in the lineup, it's a big hole. You tell a big difference in the team. The intensity, the defense. He's a talker on the floor. He's like a middle linebacker. He's calling all the plays defensively. He's telling people where to rotate. If you listen to the games, you listen to him inside the game, you hear his name. You know, DeMar drop left. You know, Patrick go right. Go under the screen. He's constantly talking. And that's, if everyone did that, they would have really, really a good defensive team, because that's what you watch Boston play. Boston is constantly talking on defense. Guys know exactly where they are, where they're going to switch, where they're going to push up and go underneath. They just have a good feel for one another, and it's trust. You got to trust your teammates to be where they're supposed to be. But when him and Zoe were out there was not a better defensive guard tandem in the league when both those guys were healthy. They were fun to watch. It was like having 2 shutdown quarters, like Deion Sanders on the left side, and then you having Rod Woodson on the right side, 2 Hall of Famer defensive backs, shut down the whole field. Only thing you got in the middle now. You got nothing on the outside. They're taking your fastest receiver. They're taking your best receiver out the game, and that's what AC and Zoe did.
Taking a look at the article by Will, you know, he said that I had the numbers wrong originally. It was a 4-year extension for $78 million, and it would start at $17 million in 25-26 and finish up at $22 million in the 28-29 season when Alex would be 34 years old. And what he mentions in here is because of the risk of injury, that the best time to trade him would have been at last year's deadline because the team would have had 2 playoff runs with Alex guaranteed. Now, if you only trade him with 1 year left, you're not going to get his money.
It's still teams are going to want him regardless of how many years he has left. It doesn't matter because
there's a market.
There's a market for him. The key for the whole key to this whole thing is if he starts with the Bulls on the Bulls roster, and you decide to do that at the trade deadline and try to move into that draft, because at some point, if the team stumbles out the gate, okay, obviously it's not working. Okay, if they come out like they did last year and slow and they stumble out the gate, it's not working. We definitely got to blow it up. And so you want to get picks going into next year's draft. So if you can secure some picks into next year's draft, and I'm a big Alex fan. I don't want to trade him, but he's really wasting here right now. If you look at how he's being used and the team's success, like, it's wasting his skill level here. I mean, you almost want to, because sooner or later he's going to break down. You know, I mean, you go back to Joakim Noah, and I said this about Joakim Noah, and I love Joe, okay? And this is what makes Jerry West so valuable when it comes to moving players when they need to be moved. Pat Riley's the same way, is that they know, like, okay, this guy's got maybe 2 years left, okay? He's reached the highest point. You know, Joe made Defensive Player of the Year. He was first team all defense, and he started to break down. He had knee injuries. He was missing some games. He was playing hurt. He started to break down, and the key is, when it's in your building, you see the player every day. You watch him in practice. You see how many practices he misses. You're seeing him limping up and down the floor. You know that this player is not 100%. And so now you say, sell high. And that's what Jerry West always did. He saw players like, okay, yeah, we got the most out of him, and they move him. And the same thing, Pat Riley. Pat Riley does that in Miami. He did that with Glenn Rice. Glenn Rice was still in his prime. They would trade him for a younger Zoe Morning. You know, I was there when that trade happened. So sometimes you have to do things that's not popular. And that's one of the things that, you know, Paxson and Gar got criticized for over the years, is that they hold on to their players way too long. You know, Luol Deng with the back injury. You know, you want to be so loyal to these players because these players give so much to the organization. And you can understand that mentality that they have, is these guys bled for you. They fought for you. This was a great group of guys. But at some point, you know, you got to say, we got all we can get out of them, and let's try to get what we can from that. And, you know, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But I would look at Alex, and I hate to see him go. I hate to see any of these guys go, because I like them. But if we're going to be in the same position playing for playing games, that's unacceptable. Not with the talent that this team has. It's unacceptable. You're going to have to start. You're going to have to. It's like, hey, listen, we're playing for playing games. You know, we wasn't too long ago, we was on top of the mountaintop looking down at everybody else. Somehow we've fallen off, and now we're down there with everybody else fighting for position. And the mentality should be, we're not fighting for playing games. We're in the playoffs. We're going for playoffs. We're trying to win championships. And if that's what the case is, can this team win a championship? That's what you got to ask yourself. If we bring everybody back and everything is perfect, can this team win a championship? With a healthy Zoe, DeMar being back in the fold, who's going to be 35, I think. Vooch is up there in age too, and you got Zach Lavine, who wasn't happy with his role. You know he's not going to be happy coming back. So can we win a championship with this group? Kobe stepped up and he's elevated his game. What is Patrick Williams going to look like? I was just talking to a guy, Oklahoma City reporter, the other day about Patrick Williams. Oklahoma City wants Patrick Williams bad. They're willing to do whatever it takes to get him. They really feel he could be a big difference on their team. So he's got some suitors out there for him. But if I'm the Bulls on him, I stand pat because he's a restricted free agent. I would go out there and you get the best deal. And if we want to match it, we match it. If we don't, we don't. But we're not going to sit here. We're not going to bid against ourselves. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, the thing that really puzzled me after reading this article is that, you know, if ownership is telling the front office, don't make major trades, we want to see if this group can stay together and make the playoffs, which ultimately they didn't. Now you go into an off season where you got to decide you're going to pay DeMar DeRozan big money. You're going to pay Patrick Williams a really healthy contract coming off surgery again. And then Zach Lavine is a depreciated asset. You can't get much for him here unless you bring him back and he proves to people that he's 100% healthy again and producing the way he did 2 years ago. So if you're not going to go over the luxury tax line and you're not going to make trades, what can you do to really improve this team?
Well, the thing about Zach is, everyone knew the Bulls were trying to trade him. So when teams know that you're desperately trying to move a player, they're not going to help you. They're not going to help you. They're just going to let you do your thing and let's let them toy for a little bit, and then maybe we'll get them on the cheap. Okay, the Bulls don't have to trade Zach Lavine. He's still in a contract. Okay, you bring Zach back next year. You have a sit down. Him and Billy Donovan sit down and explain his role. The first thing I would tell Zach Lavine is this: Zach, if we take the top 25 players, you're somewhere in 15 down to 25. That's where you are. Okay, what's keeping you from being a top 10 player in this league? And you have to be honest with him. You got to sit down and tell him, listen, what's keeping you from being a top 10 player is playing defense. You're too good of an athlete to not average 2.5 steals a game, to be up in the top 5 in steals every game, getting out in the passing lanes, using your athleticism like Kobe and Michael, and getting out there getting dunks and getting the crowd excited, getting your teammates excited. You got to get more steals. Like when he played defense on the Olympic team, when he realized that was the only way he was going to get on the floor to play defense, he played his best defense on the Olympic team. And he has the ability to play, but no one is forcing him. No one's saying you have to do this. They want his offense. Go out there and get 30, 40 points. But if you get 30, 40 points, you're giving up 30 or 40 points because at his position, Mark, he's playing against killers. He's not playing every night. He's playing against a guy that can give him 30. And you at least want to make it difficult on the defensive end because both him, Vooch, and DeMar, your 3 best players, okay? And let's be honest, they're your 3 worst defensive players. Those 3 guys have to be committed to defense if this team is going to be out of the playing game and be elevated somewhere in the top 5 in the Eastern Conference with everyone coming back. Because the defensive totals, Mark, are skewed sometimes because of Alex Caruso. The steals, the deflections. He leads the team in all those categories, like the steals, the deflections, block shots from the guard position. Him and Derek White were 2 of the best at that position and probably should have been on first team all defense just all based off of that. And now you throw Lonzo in there, and now you got two guys that can shut down and completely force your offense to do so many different things because Zoe can switch on bigger guys because he's 6'6", he's like 215 pounds. So switch pick your roles on that is not hard.
All right, before we bring in Kendall and Phoenix, America and Bulls Nation wants to know, Whispers, what would you do if you were the GM?
Boy, that's a tough call, man. But I think you do have to do some sign and trades and take some chances out there. And there's some young talent, and everyone picks on this draft, but there's going to be 1 or 2 superstars in this draft.
And that's the challenge, finding the right guy.
Yeah.
Somebody like Stacey said, somebody in the 20s is going to be better than somebody taking maybe a 3.
Shannon Jr.
Yeah, that kid out of Chicago here. I mean,
we'll ask the former Illini great Kendall Gill for his scouting report on Terrance Shannon Jr. And we'll talk to him about his son choosing Northwestern over the Illini and a number of schools that were interested in bringing him on board. But first, I want to tell you about our buddy Jeff Vukovich. When it comes to being treated like royalty, a guy who will take care of all your insurance needs, auto, home, and business, make sure to contact nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. Phone number is 847-825-4783. He is the best in the business. He will give you that personal touch and take care of all your insurance needs. And he has the best jingle in the business.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Come on, Carl.
Nationwide is on your whoa, whoa, whoa side.
Nicely done. The Gill family is a tough act to follow. They're next on Give Me the Hot Sauce. Give Me the Hot Sauce rolls on. We now want to welcome in a special guest and his son. Kendall Gill is joined by his oldest son, Phoenix. Phoenix made a big decision just recently announcing that he is going to be playing his college basketball for Chris Collins at Northwestern University. Phoenix, welcome to the show. Kendall is, of course, a dear friend. I did pre and post with him for 14 years. We've known each other forever, and Stacey's known him forever. But you're a newcomer to the show. Let's start off with, I know you're having a good summer. You've had 3 great years at St. Ignatius. I'm sure there are a lot of schools that wanted you to come and play for them. Why did you decide to make that commitment now and instead of waiting till the fall to see if more offers came in?
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like it was the best decision for me. Just the coaches were investing in me throughout the whole process. And honestly, I've liked Northwestern since they've offered me, even before they offered me. So, I mean, it was a dream come true to commit and just have everything set out for me this early. I feel like I wasn't gonna commit anywhere else, and this could be the best decision for me.
Did being Kendall's son and Kendall being a legend at University of Illinois, was there pressure from fans and your friends and Illinois fans for you to go play for the Illini?
There was a little bit of pressure. I mean, it wasn't it as it went on. There wasn't as much pressure, but there was always going to be a little bit of pressure. With my dad, of course, he wanted me to go to Illinois in the orange and blue, but then we viewed our options, and he kind of shifted towards what was best for me. And then the fans, the fans they're crazy supportive out in Champaign. So just them welcoming me, trying to get me to go there. I know when I went down to some of the U of I games, they were really trying to get at me. So yeah.
Meaning the fans.
Yeah.
Hey, you look pretty good in that 13 orange jersey. I saw that the picture. I look pretty good.
Yeah, we were actually in the parking lot after the Rutgers game, and these 3 women saw Phoenix in the car, and they had their orange sweatshirts on. They're like, Phoenix, get out of the car, get out of the car. Gotta come here and everything. So that's what he means by that.
Well, I tell you what, though, I mean that's got to be a tough decision, because the fact that Kendall, you were a star there. That team is still talked about even to this day. And then you got your son coming up who saw the things that you've done and saw you. I'm sure he's watched all the beta videotapes, because now not everything's on CD now.
Kind of grainy video,
yeah. But your dad, but Phoenix, your dad can play though, for real, straight up. Hey, you might be able to beat him now. I don't know if you can beat him one-on-one, but your pops he could go. He could go.
No, Stacey, that ended for me 2 years ago.
I remember. I saw the video where he beat you. I saw it.
More than 2 years ago. Like during COVID, like 4 or 5 years ago.
You ain't dunking on him. You ain't dunking on your pops, are you?
No. Never do that to him.
I dunked on my dad. My dad didn't talk to me for like 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't talk to me 2 weeks. We'd be at the dinner table. He acted like I didn't exist. I like, hey, Pop, you pass me the salt and pepper? He just looked at me like I was crazy.
No, that's true. But so as the recruiting process went on, the interest from Illinois kind of waned a little bit, which made, it wasn't going to make a difference either way. I think that even if Brad and those guys had recruited Phoenix really hard, the decision on our part was still going to be the same, because it was all about the fit. It wasn't really about, our allegiance to Illinois. Of course, we bleed orange and blue here in this family. Now, with my wife going to Northwestern too, now I got to admit now that Phoenix is committed, we have bleed black and purple now. But Brad and the way that college basketball, the landscape has changed now, they're going for guys that are much older now.
Yeah, the portal.
They're going in the portal, and they're going, if they're going to recruit a freshman, they deem that guy ready to contribute right away. And, freshmen are sort of, and Brad has even said this, freshmen are low on the totem pole as far as the recruiting process is concerned. So that, we saw that over a year ago, what was happening. So last year, this time, we knew that where our options were, and that was Northwestern, Stanford, Iowa State, and just recently this spring, Harvard and Yale came in. But by that time, I think Phoenix had really kind of narrowed his choices down to Iowa State, Northwestern, and Stanford. So, that's where it remained for about 5-6 months now.
Kendall, did you have Phoenix contact those other programs to tell them that he was not going to be coming? Or I don't know exactly if that's the protocol. Are you supposed to call all these schools and say thank you for your interest?
Tweet them, baby. Tweet them.
Yeah, well, actually, what happened is they actually, once Phoenix made his decision, we were going to do that, Mark. But once Phoenix made his decision, they actually reached out to us and congratulated us. And, even Matt Painter from Purdue, because, Purdue was talking to us early in his sophomore year. But, Brandon Brantley, who was recruiting Phoenix, and Matt Painter reached out, which we really appreciated. But all great schools, all great coaching staffs, and Stacey, you know this, of course, because both when you and I went through the recruiting process, it's always hard to tell somebody that's been recruiting you for a long time that you're doing something, but you never burn a bridge. You may see those guys down the line later on, probably in the pros or wherever, later on in life. So, you always got to stay in good standing with everybody.
Did you hear from Illinois?
No.
Is that disappointing to you?
Kinda. I heard from some guys in the athletic department that I had known for a long. I mean, they've been there ever since I was there, but no coaches reached out to us. No.
Phoenix, talk a little bit about the recruiting process, and it's a very strenuous thing because there's so many schools coming at you. There's so many. Everybody's talking so good. It makes like every school you want to go to because they're telling you what you want to hear. How important was it to have your dad, who went through the same process as you did in high school, having him on your side, being able to be able to guide you and help you through the process?
It was very important. I mean, him going through the process, knowing what's right, and knowing if a program's faking or like just saying, like you said, they want you to hear what you want to hear. So it's been very important going through the process, him showing me how coaches react to stuff, really making me tune into that while they're coaching in the games, and just how they react with me off the court too. So he's been very important in the process and just teaching me a lot about recruiting.
Stacey's dad was very important in the process too, because Stacey wanted to follow a girl to Maryland, and his dad said, "Hell no, you ain't going." Tell him that story, Stacey.
Mark, this is not about me, Mark. It's about Phoenix, right?
Tell him the story. We can kick out of it.
Okay, so listen, the worst thing I ever did, Phoenix, is bring my mom on a recruiting trip. So I took her to Maryland with me, and she got sold on the moms of the team talking about, hey, on Sundays they come to our house after church. My mom was religious. We went to church every Sunday. He can come by after church. We'll cook for him, boom, boom, boom. But what she didn't see what was going on behind the scenes. Like when you're with the players, you see certain players like you're not going to click with. Like I saw some things behind the scenes that was going on that, Lynn Bias, who passed away from, did drug overdose, died, was number 2 pick in the NBA draft. I got a chance to meet him and got a chance to see some stuff behind the scenes that I wasn't comfortable with. I mean, I only saw cocaine on Miami Vice. I never saw it in real life because I'm from Oklahoma. So I'd never seen it in real life. But when I saw it on the table and somebody asked me to hit it, come on, man, hit it, man. Have some fun. It'll make you feel good. That wasn't for me. And I knew that school wasn't for me. And so when I got back home, my girlfriend, I had a deal with any school that recruited me. If I go to your school, you got to give my girlfriend a scholarship. And they're like, oh, done deal.
He's a power broker.
Done deal. She can go to any school you want. I mean, we can win any school in America. So the week before we get ready to go to this National Signing Day, she's in my car crying. Oh, okay. I'm like, what are you crying for? This is a happy day. We going to Maryland. I can't go to Maryland. It's too far. It's too far from my parents. I'm like, so you wait 4 days before National Signing? You could have told me this weeks ago. I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I knew you had your heart set on Maryland. And she was just crying. I said, where do you want to go? And so she's like, Oklahoma. I was like, oh, hell no. They weren't even in my top 10. And so, yeah, they weren't. My mom didn't like Billy Tubbs because she didn't like the way he was, Billy Tubbs was really like arrogant. She didn't like the way his presentation was when he came in the house. He basically came in and asked my mom what she was cooking for dinner. Normally your mom would tell you, would you guys like dinner? That's what the mothers do, So she was like, he came in and said, well, we having fried chicken. And mom was like, no, they didn't rub right with my mom. So she didn't want me to go there. Yeah. So then when I came in, I told my mom and dad, I said, hey, I'm changing my choices. And my dad said, what do you mean change choice? What do you mean change your choice? I said, I'm not going to Maryland. And so he said, boy, you going to Maryland. I don't care. You following that pissy tail girl to Oklahoma. You let that pissy tail girl change your mind. And my dad was like 6'6", like 250. I was like 6'7", like 190, soaking wet. So my dad, I said, I go where I want to. Y'all don't got, I got sassy. I said, I'm the one out here shooting hoops. I'm the one out here.
Right.
They come to see me, Otis. They ain't come to see you. They come to see me. So my mom said something, and I kind of got sassy with her. My dad hit me in the head with one of them little, them little flat, what do you call those little loafers with the Michael Jackson logo, the penny loafers. My dad hit me up. My dad hit me upside. Don't you talk to your mother like that. Pop me in the ear. Dude, I raised up Kendall. I bowed up. I was like, this is it, man. Then I remember what he did to my older brothers, and I jumped over the couch and ran out the house. I was like, nah, I ain't messing with this big fella. I ain't going out like that, Kendall. But I ended up going to Oklahoma. Oklahoma didn't have a scholarship for me. I had to call Lefty Dazelle because they came in. Sherman Dillon, who's at Iowa, they was all on the staff. They was in Oklahoma for the whole week because they knew I was going to flip. They had heard I was going to flip, so they came in early to make sure I got to the signing date to sign with Maryland. So I had to call them. They was at the Holiday Inn. I'll never forget. My dad said, I'm not calling them. You going to call them. You want to make this kind of decision? You got to go do it. So I had to call them up. I say, hey, Coach Stacey King, I'm not coming to Maryland. And, man, you could have heard a pin drop.
Yeah.
Sherman Dillon. I see Sherman Dillon all the time. Sherman Dillon said, he tells me, boy, if you'd came to Maryland, we won a national championship. But we went to the national championship in Oklahoma, so that prophecy was kind of fulfilled. So, but it would have been tough though. It would have been tough for me to go there because based off of what I've seen and all these schools, and I know Phoenix has gone through it too. Everything looks great. They got your name in the lights. Back in the day when you go to the arenas, Kendall, and you went to visit a school, they have your name up on the scoreboard. They'd have your name in the locker room. Stacey King law in Oklahoma, and you should think, man, that was so cool. And every school you wanted to sign right then and there. But I always like, no, I gotta wait till I get home. I gotta do some thinking because everything sounds good. But every school did the same thing. I'm sure they did it for you too.
They did, man. I'm gonna tell you, and we had the best visit at Stanford, man. And Stacey, they had me as soon as I walked into place.
You said you going here, boy?
I was like, hey man, I was like, yo, you should commit right now, man. But Phoenix, to his credit, was firm. He said, I still want to look at it. And then when we got on the plane back to Chicago, even though, I loved what Stanford had presented and everything, he said, Dad, I'm still not sold on Stanford. So I said, okay, well, you make your own decision. And that night, the night we got back from Stanford, we went to the Northwestern game. That's when I knew that's when I knew it was over. Because we went to see him play Minnesota. The night we got back from Stanford. So and then they won that game. Phoenix went in the locker room. Chris Collins took his shirt off as customary when they went to be out in the locker room. I was like, it's over, man. I was like, I know where he's going. I didn't say anything, but I knew at that time.
Well, Chris has done a great job of turning that program around. It's kind of like Duke. In a sense, it's kind of like Duke. Because everybody's always said, well, it's hard to get the athletes in there because of academics, but he's found a way to get guys in there. He's getting smart guys in there that's got, great with the books and then high basketball IQ. I mean, they're fun to watch. When I watch them, I'm like, man, this team is really good. They get to the tournament every year. He's a coach. The players are an extension of the coach. I've always said that. If you got a docile coach who just sits there and doesn't say anything, the players take that mentality sometimes. But if you got a coach who's out there, like he's getting on the officials, he's pumping you up, that just pumps you up. So I'm sure Phoenix has probably seen that and said, this is the kind of place I want to play.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the program's kind of going up in the past few years. They had a couple down seasons, but they've started to rise. That especially with Buie and Ty Berry, they have kind of skyrocketed the program and made it more of a good fit for other people and just a great program in general. And I feel like they Coach Collins and the other coaches on the staff, they have really been helped in the recruiting process and have really started to really build a relationship with me, which I think is key in the process. And they've showed respect and just in general, they've just been there throughout the whole time.
Yeah, and I gotta give a shout out to Chris Lowry and Chris Collins and the rest of the staff. They did a phenomenal job recruiting. First of all, they've been on Phoenix since he was in the 8th grade, invited him up to practice and, let him watch practice and then constantly, in contact with him. and saying how he could fit into the system, and they look at him as a 6'4", 6'5" Buie, with athleticism. Chris, and the style of play, their style of play is surrounded by guard play. Coming off of screens and looking to score. And let's not forget, Chris Collins was former McDonald's All-American. He's a gunslinger.
Yeah.
He's a gunslinger. So, anybody that's a gunslinger, that's what I want to play for.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
Because he's gonna let you go.
Yep.
And that was a main factor in what we were looking at.
Yeah, I was going to say, Phoenix, I did a story on Chris Collins back when he played at Glenbrook North, and his coach was Brian James, who's now an assistant on the staff.
Yeah.
So those two have been together forever, and you're going to love Brian, too. He's a really first-class dude, and he'll take care of you. But I was really fascinated by what your dad had to say about seeing you in the mold of Buie. Is that something that you can picture in your own mind, that you can be that lead guard who can play either spot, can be a scorer, can distribute, and really set up the whole offense?
Yeah, I mean, that was key. I think I didn't want to go into a program and kind of be a tweener and play like the 2 or the 3. I could play the 2, but I want to be in more of that combo guard role. I feel like that was essential, and it will help me develop into the type of player I want to be.
Talk a little bit about your dad's workout programs that he's had. We've all seen documented the boxing, the 60. Did he do the 60-40 thing?
Ooh.
Yeah, Phoenix completed the 60-40. He's a 60-40 guy. So we call him 60-40 made. So if you could program, you become 60-40 made. So Phoenix completed the program about 3 years ago, and we don't do it all the time now, but we still do it occasionally. But Paige, you can tell them a little bit about the program.
Yeah, I mean, program's not for everybody. I'll start off by saying that, but it gets you in shape. I'll tell you that much. Especially the boxing. I usually go like 10 rounds a day. It could go up if I'm really trying to get in shape, but the boxing just helps with everything from my footwork to just my mental aspect. And also he puts us through other workouts like 60-40, you said, and that gets you in shape, get your endurance up, and also get your speed up. And then also, as far as the basketball workouts, we have a skills workout where we get all the skills down, my moves and everything. And then we have another workout where I just get a lot of shots up and get a lot of reps up to keep me sharp and everything. So, I mean, it's a lot. It's not for everybody, but it's helped me, and it's getting me to the next level. So
yeah, I've seen the jump though from the last few years as far as your athleticism. You've always showed athletic ability, but now you turn on people's heads and you giving people stare downs. I said, oh baby, he got that dog in him. He dunked on somebody. I don't know if it was an AU game or something. He dunked on somebody and turned the game a look. I was like, oh, Phoenix, baby, oh, that's what I like to see. He got that dog in him.
Hey Stacey, when I was sitting courtside, and I didn't know what he was going to do. All I thought, I saw him make a move down, but I had no idea he was going to raise up like that and dunk the basketball.
Yeah. He's. I'm telling you, man. He's going. That Northwestern got a good one. He got a good one.
Yeah, but the thing is he's a late bloomer as far as basketball skills and his athleticism is concerned, because Stacey and Mark, when we were kids, we didn't have iPads, iPhones, and everything like that to babysit us when we were kids, right? We had to go outside and play. We jumped on and off things. We learned how to jump and everything. And quite honestly, Phoenix didn't know how to do that. And he's just now learning how to be an athlete because, like I said, he's his whole childhood, he was on his phones or iPads, just it's not the kids that grow up today. They don't grow up like us. They didn't have to go out. They don't go outside and play, until for 8-9 hours a day, and that's something that we did. And that's why you're starting to see the jump in his athleticism, because he's just now really starting to learn how to be an athlete.
Hey, Phoenix, the third member of our group here, Tim Kelly, is a proud graduate of Northwestern. Took him about 8 years. Took about 8 years, but he eventually got the diploma.
Yeah. When I was there, the team was so bad I could have played for them.
Wow, that's getting a lot over there.
Let's not get carried away here, Tim. Come on now.
Yeah, don't get carried away.
I still was an All-American beer drinker and captain of the skirt chasing club, but other than that, that's about it.
But Phoenix, your mom, of course, graduated from Northwestern. How influential was she in this decision? Because I know that talking to your dad, even going back a couple of years, he said academics come first. That everybody thinks that I'm going to play in the NBA. He wants to make sure that you get a quality education and are prepared for life after basketball. What was your mom's reaction when you finally made the decision? Yes, I'm going to Northwestern.
Oh my goodness, she was very emotional. I remember the first call I had with her, telling her I was gonna commit. She was bawling out in the office. That's really emotional. But I mean, as far as her being there for my decision, it was good. She was very influential. But she didn't drag it out as much as you would think. She always wanted me to go to her alma mater, but she wasn't like heavy on it. She wanted me to weigh all my options and just see what the best fit for me was, which I think was very crucial, and I think that helped me pick my decision.
Yeah, Mark, you're right about all these kids now. I see, and I follow all the kids, the national kids and everything, but it seems like nobody goes to go to school anymore.
No. Yeah, they just want the NIL money and NBA possibilities.
Yeah, the NIL money and the one and dones and everything. Like I just saw the number one kid in the nation right now, the class of 2025, saying that, hey, my whole objective is to be one and done, and that's how I'm going to pick my school. And Stacey, a lot of these kids don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of money out there, and hopefully they get it. But one day this stuff ends.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're seeing the long game. So you're gonna have to have something to fall back on.
Yeah, and the thing about it is a lot of these kids have the wrong people, the street agents in their ear telling them to do this, do that. There's no loyalty in the game anymore. And it's really surprising, and it's good to see Kendell, your son, be able to get into a good university that he wanted to go to, because now freshmen coming in are getting squeezed out because of the portal. I mean, teams are changing a whole roster every season now. And it reminds me of the junior college days when we played in the 80s and 90s. You had the JUCO players. The coaches went out. We us in Vegas, we recruited JUCOs heavily at Oklahoma and Vegas. And those guys were always coming in ready to play because they got 2 years of experience. But they weren't pushing freshmen out. They were still part of a team. Freshmen still had places on the team. But now you're starting to see, man, they're not recruiting kids coming out of high school now. They're going straight for the portal, which is really sad because, kids like Phoenix could be there 3 years, 4 years, and help build your program, kind of like you used to be when kids stayed 3 years. Now everybody wants the money. The kid from Illinois, Coleman, what's his name? Coleman
Hawkins. Supposedly he's going to get $2 million.
How in the hell did Kansas State come up with $2 million?
I want to know who's came up with that.
How at Kansas State $2 million? And wait a minute, you got $2 million to spend. You might want to go after Cooper Flag or some other people like that.
Coleman Hawkins is a nice player, but he's not turning your program around.
Boy, you're gonna ask for a refund. You give me half of that money back, boy.
For Coleman Hawkins, of course, I loved him at Illinois, but it's gonna be hard to see him in a Kansas State uniform. I'm so used to seeing him in an Illini uniform. It's sort of like MJ in a Wizards uniform.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
They've got to do something with the portal, though. I mean, you should only be able to transfer one time. Based off if your coach leaves the school, but you should only be able to transfer one time. You should not be able to. I've seen a couple of guys off Oklahoma's team. They've been on 4 different teams since they left Oklahoma. And I'm like, how's that benefiting the college game? How's that helping the college game?
Yeah, no, it's something else. I mean, you look at Illinois, we have a total of 2 players returning back from last year's team. We got 10 new players. And, I know they're trying to recruit this kid, Will Riley, out of Canada right now. If he comes aboard now, that's 11.
Wow.
I don't know how you develop any type of, culture.
Yeah.
By renewing your roster every year. And most college teams, that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Hey, in our last segment, Stacey was saying that Bull should consider taking Terrance Shannon after he got his legal problems behind him. Is he good enough at 11?
Stacey, do you still think we need a knockdown shooter?
Yeah, if the kid Dalton Connect from Tennessee is available, if he slips down there, which I don't think he will, I think he'll do good in individual workouts. I think he won't be there. I think what you're going to see at 11, Kendall, is like you see every year, a kid who was supposed to be maybe a lottery pick slips down, and he's the best available player at that position. Some people think we need a guard. I don't think we need any more guards. We got too many guards. We need size. We need size.
Too many, yeah.
They're talking Zach Edey at 11. I'm not. Listen, he unless he got some foot speed over the summer, I'm just not. I'm not a big fan of him. I think scoring wise, he could do something for you, but defensively, we've got a guy like Vooch who has a trouble in the pick and roll and being able to switch out on guards. And I think he might be a worse defender than Vooch as far as that part of his game. Shot blocking, I think he'll be fine there. But unless you're gonna play that drop zone, play drop zone, I think he could be effective. But he'll still have some problems. If Rudy Gobert is getting exposed in the playoff game, what do you think Zach Edey's gonna do? He's not a better player he's not a better defensive player than Rudy Gobert, and he got exposed in the playoff series.
That's right, and it's rare that you find a 7-footer that's Wemby.
Exactly. Exactly. He can guard anybody on the floor.
Right. So Mark, to answer your question, I mean, if he's there, I mean, I think you got to take a serious look at him. He did improve his 3-point shooting over the past 2 seasons since he's been at Illinois. With the rules, the defensive rules, the way that they're constructed today, Terrance Shannon can get to the basket with the best of them.
Yeah.
So he can be a benefit there. But we got a lot of guys like that.
Yeah.
I think we got to go for a shooter, man, somewhere. Or if we don't get one in the draft, we got to get one in free agency.
The crazy thing is like all these other teams, Boston, Atlanta, they find these shooters off the streets. Like you don't never hear these guys, but all of a sudden they come in and dropping 30 on you. Like, who is Sam Hauser? Where did he come from? And then he playing in the finals, killing. And we brought a kid in, Neil Funk's little grandson. What's his name? Funk. Neil Funk's grandson.
Yeah, Andrew Funk. Yeah.
He came out of Mariano's checking bags. I was like, who that little dude out there? When they told me he could shoot because he went to Penn State.
They
said, oh, he was a great shooter at Penn State. And I'm looking for him, and I didn't see it, but he was a little bitty guy. But these teams always seem to find these shooters off the scrap heap. And what I would do if I was listen, everybody can't be a star in the NBA, but you can find specialists. And that's what Phil Jackson always did. You're not going to find a superstar when you're trying to fill out your rotation on your team, but you can find specialists that do things very well. Craig Hodges was a great 3-point shooter. We used to call him Highway 14 because people go right by him on the defense end. I pass. Yeah, hey Hodge, I know you listen, boy. I love you, boy. But you couldn't guard nobody, baby. You like Luke out there. but he can shoot. He's one of the greatest shooters of all time. You put him out that floor, he'd knock down 4 or 5 threes and help you win games. Bobby Hansen. Bobby Hansen was a specialist. We had all this. Steve Kerr was a specialist. You had all these guys who came in and understood their roles. You can find guys like that on the bench. There's a lot of guys who don't get to play. That once they get the opportunity to play and you see him play like more than 10 minutes in the game, you go, wow, this kid can really play. There's a lot of guys on benches out there that could probably start for a lot of teams.
Well, let's hope they find that diamond in the rough because they could use some shooting. Hey, Phoenix, one more question. We'll let you guys go. You experienced the state tournament a couple of times, your first 2 years at St. Ignatius, and now you've got this big decision behind you. You've had a great summer playing with your school team and in AAU. How excited are you about your senior year and maybe getting St. Ignatius back to the state tournament?
Yeah, I'm real excited. I mean, we've been playing some summer games in the month of June, and we look pretty solid right now. So I think we need a little bit more size, but other than that, I think we have all the pieces. Our defense is there. We just need some rim protection and some rebounding. But other than that, I feel like we have a good shot for sure. And my senior year, I want to get back downstate, and not only get down there but win it. So I think we have a great chance this year.
Hey, Stacey, you said they need some size. They're going to pay $2 million to get Coleman Hawkins to play for them?
I don't know. But hey, I don't know. He ain't worth no $2 million. Phoenix, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice when you go to Northwestern because you're coming in as a freshman. Focus on that defensive end first. Get that defensive end. So that's how you get in the lineup. And the offense is always going to be there because you can score. But your dad will tell you, if you come out there and play some defense, you're a lockdown defender, or you're gonna find minutes. Chris Collins gonna find some minutes for you out there. Trust me on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. That's the way you do it. That's the formula.
That's how you got to get in that lineup as a freshman, that defensive end. And then when you get out there, you hit a couple of baskets. Phoenix! All the girls cheering for you. Boy, leave them girls alone, Phoenix. Wait till your senior year. That's when you can get all the girls, baby. Don't worry. Leave the freshman year, leave them alone. You all business right now, baby. All business.
Tim, you got anything for the guys before we let them go?
Just stay away from the. Well, when I was there, it was a dry campus too.
Yeah, I know.
And so that didn't really help me much. But anyway,
wow.
Unless I'd say stay away from that new downtown in Evanston. There's some trouble down there.
He's a child, man. Stop trying to encourage him to have alcohol. What kind of guy are you, man?
I'm not.
Close his mic.
Hey,
close his mic, man. You
That's
give
enough
me.
of that.
See, that's the way we end every interview, Phoenix. We let Tim ask a question, and that brings
He's
it
a
to a
teenager.
screeching halt.
Yeah.
I ruin every show. That's what Northwestern grads can do.
When I was at Northwestern, it was a dry campus.
Yeah,
I found ways to
it was
get around.
terrible. All you had to do was study.
Hey, congratulations on your
bud.
decision, Phoenix. I know your mom is thrilled, and your dad. I saw him on TV yesterday saying he's going to wear a gray suit when Northwestern plays Illinois. So he's staying impartial. He's going to be Switzerland.
And we're going to pop out at one of them high school games this year. Wow. Check me out.
Right. Y'all got to come see him play, man.
All right, Kendall and Phoenix Gill, our special guests on Give Me the Hot Sauce. Thanks a lot, and good luck in your senior year, Phoenix. We'll be talking to you soon.
Hey, Stacey, work on that beard, man. I'm trying.
Hey, the Silver Fox, baby. Silver Fox, baby.
Fox Club.
Silver Fox, baby. It's normally gray in the summertime, baby. When you don't see me, baby, it's gray in the summertime, baby. I could have been in the club.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it very much.
All right, boys.
We're coming right back to wrap up. Give Me the Hot Sauce. Well, we had a great time visiting with Kendall Gill and his son, Phoenix. He's going to do great things at Northwestern. Tim, I know we're going to do What Are You Watching lately, but I was disappointed. I was starting to watch the season 3 of The Outlaws, and Christopher Walken's not on it anymore.
No?
I'm so disappointed.
Is he dead?
It's going to be off my list. No, he's still around.
Yeah.
He's still selling hot sauce.
No, I mean, dead in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I didn't kill him off. He just kind of wandered away.
Yeah, see, I forgot to tell Phoenix that if you work hard in school and stuff, eventually one day you can pack up hot sauce and ship it.
Oh, wow. Wow. Northwestern just shipping hot sauce.
Yeah. Well, we'll send some hot sauce the Gill's way after being kind enough to join us today. But tell the folks how they can get their own personalized bottle.
Well, I'm worried about the pitch coming up. You've been working on it?
What I tell you, coffee's for closers.
All right.
I got it. Don't worry about that. We will charm the piranhas. They're not sharks. They're the piranhas.
Should we say this to him? This is for Mariano's.
Oh, okay.
Are you looking to score the hottest sauce in the game? Well, you're in luck. How's that going to go?
That's horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to be thrown out the
We
door.
got to rewrite this.
Who wrote it?
Next week. I'm pretty sure some Northwestern guy did.
Oh, man. I told you, let me do the talking. You don't need to be adding anything.
Oh, yeah.
You're the silent partner in this equation.
Yeah, real silent.
It's a business presentation. I'm going to have to take over.
Oh, my God.
We've got all the sauce in your kitchen needs from Chicago Fire 1871 to the hottest of the bunch, the King's favorite St. Pat's Verde. Give Me the Hot Sauce has got you covered. Stop by GiveMeTheHotSauce.com and use the code KING21 to get 21% off first order. You can still use Walken Q and Walken Fire to get a free bottle if you just type it in. Someone finally did last week. I couldn't believe it.
Nice.
Nice.
Take advantage. Hey, everybody's talking about the whole Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese thing. I thought we'd take a minute or two to talk about that.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you see the play? Did you think that was a basketball player, or do you think she was trying to take her out?
No, that was I didn't like a basketball play to me. She was way past her. She was past her. That was a hard
It was
foul.
all head, no arm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Listen, man.
Is it good for the WNBA to have this rivalry?
definitely.
Listen, they don't even play the same position.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think Angel Reese is having a great rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
I think she needs to focus on her rookie season, probably win rookie of the year if she continues to play and put up the numbers she's putting up. Caitlin's starting to get warmed up to the league now. She's starting to get back to her old self. I saw her hit a couple of half-court threes on people the other day. Girl went underneath the screen, which I don't know why you would go underneath the screen. And she pulled up like maybe 4 steps behind the three-point line and drained it. And so she's starting to get comfortable with the physical contact. Now, listen, she's a smart player. She's a heady player. Some of the stuff that she does initiates contact. Like I saw her make a move and she clamped someone's arm and went and rode to the basket and got the foul called. So she's very heady with the game. She's picked up some of the little nuances of the game, and a lot of that's come from college. she's able to get away with that stuff. And I think now she understands the speed of the game, the physicality of the game, and she's now made that adjustment.
So you're not buying that Angel Reese was just trying to block
No.
the shot?
No, because listen, because Angel tells on herself too much. She talks too much as far as no, seriously, she really speaks what's on her mind, which she has no filter, and she's constantly taking digs at Caitlin Clark. She's not the only one. They come to see me, and it's like just play the game. There's no need for that. Like, you're a great player. You're having an outstanding rookie year. She's leading in a lot of the categories for all rookies. She's going to be on the all rookie team, and if she continues to play and avoid injury, she's going to be up for the rookie player of the year. She's got to continue, but at the same time, just be humble. You know what? Be humble. I'm here to hoop. I don't really care about nobody else. I'm here to play. I'm playing with the sky. I don't care what anybody does on Indiana Fever. I don't care what anybody does in New York. I'm here to help my team win. I think that will seem a lot better, and people will probably respect her a little bit more.
And the Sky, for people that are following that team more closely, they've got things to look forward to with Reese and Camila Cardoso. They both had double-doubles yesterday.
Yes, and that's the future for them. But the Sky has had a history of getting rid of, like, some of their star players. If you think of some of the people they've got rid of, Deladon, the girl that's on the Olympic team now, what's her name? They just got rid of
Kalia Copper.
They
traded her to
Oh,
Phoenix,
man. Then you had
Candace Parker at one point. Yeah. Courtney Vandersloot.
Courtney Vandersloot. You had some really good players here, and they've gotten rid of them. And so they're not like the NBA where they keep their star players. Like, for whatever reason, teams switch. They're going. Vegas is really the favorite to win the title again. They at one point they were 6-6, and I saw where their star player was crying.
Yeah,
she was very distraught about it.
Yeah,
Angel. She was very distraught about the way her team is playing, and so no one can ever say these girls don't care. This is Vegas, a team that is constantly the best team in the league. They got the best stars in the team, and to see a girl care that much, you got to tip your hat off to her.
Yeah, WNBA's had record
and
attendance.
They look good too when they walk into the game.
Yeah,
there's some girls don't question some of the clothing they wear. But overall, it's a fashion show, and I'm there for the fashion show.
Yeah.
Okay, I may not get to the first quarter, but I'm there for the fashion show.
And TV ratings are up, so they're doing really well. Whispers, any golf in your background?
So yeah, some really bad games.
Did you feel for Rory McIlroy yesterday? You missed those two putts.
I was watching it, and
that was awful.
I really did. You could feel it.
And then people are ripping him today for not meeting the media. It's like the guy has been the biggest ambassador for the PGA Tour. He missed two short putts, which cost him the biggest tournament in the world, and people are ripping him for not going to.
Yeah,
what's he supposed to say?
Does that surprise you, Mark? Though that surprise you how society is nowadays.
That's the way it is now.
I mean, they look for the most negative thing to talk about, and then they just hammer it into the ground. You don't think that guy feels bad? You don't think that he's was going home and just was wanting to bury himself in the sand, his head in the sand, and hide for the next 2 weeks?
And that was with a comeback too. I mean, he was behind, and then got the lead.
And he was
in
up
the
by
third
two
day.
shots with
And
5
then-
to go, and then
and then
three bogeys coming in. So
But that happens though, because golf is unpredictable. How many times you've seen guys
unforgiving.
you've seen guys going in with leads, and then all of a sudden they just falter at the end. He's like, how did he lose that? He was up like 5 strokes. How did he lose that? It just happens, and this is a guy who's one of the best in the world.
Mhm.
And he didn't jump over to live. He didn't do all that. He stayed with the PGA, and, he's been, like you said, he's been one of the best ambassadors. But man, for people to ride guys in a downtime, you think he wanted to lose? Think he wanted to miss those 2 putts? I'm gonna go. I'm hammered. I'm gonna miss these 2 putts. I'm John Daly smoking a cigarette. I'm missing putts. No, he didn't go out there to miss those putts. He just missed them. And it's a mental game. It's a mental game. Baseball and golf are 2 of the hardest sports to play.
But how
because of
that's
mental.
but you could feel the celebration for DeChambeau though when he sinks that.
Well, he had
putt.
a great shot out of the sand on 18.
Oh, just
that was
beautiful
incredible.
shot. Yeah.
And I saw a stat that Rory McIlroy has the most top 10 finishes in major tournaments over the last 10 years, and he hasn't won any.
Yeah.
Hasn't won any.
Yeah, and that's where it really hurts, missing those short putts.
Yeah, him and Ricky Fowler.
Ricky Fowler's another one.
Yeah, incredible. But he has no major wins.
Man.
So at least what
How
Roy's
many
got.
majors Rory got? Like 3?
3, right?
4,
Or
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least he
But
got
not
some.
1 in 10 years.
Phil Mickelson used to be like that, though. He used to be in that category.
Yeah.
Gotta have a lot of top
he had
10
that tiger
finishes.
problem.
Yeah, he had a tiger over there prowling in the weeds.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't normally talk golf, but it was
No.
pretty compelling to see what happened to him. And I just felt like, the media, as you know, Stacey, all these shows that are on in the morning on ESPN and Fox, all these other networks, all they want to do is make a name for themselves by just tearing somebody apart.
Yeah.
We saw it at Brian Windhorst after Luka had a bad game and was carping at the officials. He undressed Luka.
Listen, and that was unnecessary.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, we all know that Luka's defense has really been bad in the playoffs. Okay, and as a journalist, you can point it out, but there's also you can overpoint something out.
Yeah.
You're beating a dead horse. We all saw it. We saw your highlights. To take a personal shot, he would never do that for LeBron. If LeBron was playing this way, he would never do that to LeBron. So don't pick on Luka. We all know that, we don't know what's going on. Maybe Luka's hurt. We don't even know. Maybe
he's been hurt. Yeah.
He's been hurt. Maybe knee, I think it was knee is bothering him, foot bothering him. Not making any excuses for him, but you don't have to take an athlete to task. Just like when Draymond was killing Rudy Gobert when he was on the TNT broadcast. Yeah. Listen, to be a good, broadcaster or journalist, listen, everyone can see someone playing bad on TV, okay? You don't have to repeat it 20 times and bring someone to task on that. That's why Minnesota banned TNT. That's why they didn't want to talk to TNT, because they were picking on Rudy Gobert, and that's why, Anthony Edwards didn't want to do any interviews with them.
Wait, did someone confuse Draymond with a good journalist?
You know what? Let me tell you something. Listen, because they think he's the next Charles Barkley. The guy's gonna, he's got these hot takes. He's gonna just speak from his mouth, and he's just gonna say things. I thought just watching him there, if you were basing off of him doing that game, I thought they really didn't need him. I thought it was too many people up there. They had Paul George up there the other day, and they were dogging Kawhi Leonard. Stephen A. Smith was dogging Kawhi Leonard and saying that, Paul George hasn't had a good teammate to help him get to the finals, whatever. Man, Kawhi Leonard had some devastating injuries, and you're sitting up there critiquing him and killing him, making it look like he doesn't want to play, like he's sitting out because he doesn't want to play. He had major ACL injury. He had some Achilles problems, and it's like he played more games than he's played in the last 3 years, and you're complaining about it.
Yeah, you think Charles Barkley will retire after next year, or you think he'll?
Yeah, because unless the NBA TV becomes like the TNT set, I don't see him. I think he's tired of doing it because Charles lives in Atlanta like four of the 7 days a week there. He stays in a hotel on Peachtree where we stay at. He stays in the same hotel that we stay at, and he doesn't go home until the weekend. So when TNT's done, so when Thursday's the last show, then he goes back to Phoenix where he lives. But he's tired of traveling. He's tired of living in a hotel. He wants to play more golf, and he deserves it. Listen. A lot of people might think he doesn't bring a lot to the game, but he adds something to that broadcast. That's one of the best shows in the history of the game, and they should try to find some way to bring it back, and even if it's on NBA TV, to bring it back.
Yeah, NBC is a tough act to follow. Because TNT, that inside the NBA, has been a show that people have flocked to.
Unless you can hire them over there, and I don't think any one of those guys want to go over to the NBC, because that's NBC is going to be. They're probably going to look for, they're going to probably look for some guys, retired guys, and it's hard to replicate what TNT has done.
It's impossible.
No,
they'll never be able.
The closest pregame show that's closest to TNT is the Bulls pre and postgame show with when you were there, I was there. Now with Jayson, Kendall, Gill, and then me and Adam come on. We add spice to the show.
The crossover.
The crossover, yes. The crossover. That show is probably about the closest thing to TNT, especially with me and Adam's on.
There you go. Absolutely. Speaking of what are we watching, Whispers, you want to start us off? You got a recommendation this week?
I don't know if it's a recommendation as much as it's something
tear it
I
down
want to watch.
A warning, don't watch this. That's
Trailer Park Boys. My son said you have to watch this. It's the funniest series ever done, and I mean, there's definitely some funny stuff in it, but it's basically about a pack of morons living in a trailer park, always pulling schemes and scams. And
it looks like your kind of movie.
Yeah,
it looks like the Jackass dads or something.
It is, but the problem is, it's one of those. It's not that great, but you still are like, man, I got to see what these idiots do next, kind of thing. And so you keep watching.
They hooked you. All right. Yeah. Stacey, what do you got?
Brotherhood. This is a show that's been on for a few years.
I saw that.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's the Caffey brothers. Mm-hmm. They're from Rhode Island. They're Irish. One's an Irish gangster. The other one's an Irish politician. They hate each other, but they love each other. Yeah. And so the politician, Jayson Clark, relies a lot on his brother to get dealings done under the underworld. And it's kind of a take from Whitey Bulger during those times and during that time. It's a great show. And like I said, it's been out. It's been out probably 10 years. I think there's like 6 seasons. It's an awesome show, so make sure you check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. I watched a documentary that just released on Hulu called Brats. It's about the Brat Pack of the
Brat
80s
Packs.
that kind of took over Hollywood for a while. And it was actually the brainchild of the guy, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see in the back, Andrew McCarthy. He was not the most well-known of that group, but he felt like the media labeling them the Brat Pack really destroyed a lot of their careers because no one would hire them for a serious role. You know, they were typecast as certain kind of actors who could do certain kind of films, but they didn't feel like they could step out of that. When you look at Demi Moore, of course,
Yeah,
was a
she's
huge
on.
star.
Yeah, huge star.
But Emilio Estevez faded. Judd Nelson faded.
The Ducks, Mighty Ducks. He was in the Mighty Ducks.
Rob
Obviously,
Lowe's in the
Rob
back
Lowe
there.
was-
He's okay.
came
He's done
back
well.
lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Lowe came back lately, but he got in trouble having some young girls in his room at a political convention.
Yeah.
But it's just a span of time in the early 80s when these actors and actresses were all in their early 20s. And they were
But
getting-
all
they were
those
getting
shows,
these big
all
roles.
those shows in the '80s with these young guys were really, really good shows.
Mhm.
You know, Pretty in Pink. What other
St.
shows?
Elmo's Fire.
St. Elmo's Fire. I mean, they were
16
all
Candles.
yeah, they were all
About
good
Last Night.
shows. What was the one? What was the one with the when they were in? They had them in detention.
The Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
That is a good
That's a
movie.
classic. Judd was his name?
John
Hughes
Judd
films.
Nelson. Judd Nelson was funny in that.
Yeah.
And then Michael, the nerdy kid, weird science kid, Michael
C.
Hall.
Yeah.
Michael C. Hall.
Yeah.
He's the little geeky kid with the braces. He's hilarious, and that's one of the all-time classics.
Yeah, Weird
Hey,
Science is
Sriracha Crew, have y'all ever seen that? You ever seen that show?
St. Elmo's Fire.
No, not St. Elmo's Fire.
No, just
Breakfast
St.
Club.
Elmo's.
Breakfast Club. You ever seen it?
Just listen off the
Oh, it's worth watching.
Come on, it's
a
worth
good film.
watching. Go ahead. Yeah.
classic. Filmed in Chicago.
So we're giving our 20-somethings
Yeah.
a homework assignment. So you
Yeah.
got to watch
Yeah.
The Breakfast Club and
Breakfast
report
Club.
back next week.
Yeah, look at him.
right?
Look at him. There
Well-
he is.
What are we watching?
You seen it? See, that's good. You get an A+ for seeing an old movie. But Francisco, he's not watching old movies. The furthest he goes is 2001. That's as further he goes.
I bet you our guy Mike watched The Breakfast Club. Is he out in the parking
Yeah,
lot?
Mike is out in the parking lot. He's out there doing 10 push-ups and he's doing the calisthenics. He's climbing the wall over there by the little building over there. And then Mike's got a lot of women after him.
Oh, okay.
Got a lot of women after
Good for him.
I was
a
trying to
good
play.
place to
I was
be.
trying to play Cupid the other day for Mike, and Mike shot it down. we had a young lady who was in her 60s. A young lady, pretty lady. Mike's like, no, I can't. No, I can't do that.
My
Stace."
date book is filled up.
Yeah, just no. He just. But hey, I tell you what though, it's good to have him back in his car. I tell you, man, his truck is unbelievable. He pulls up in that thing and revving it up. Man, he's always cleaning it. There's not a cleaner truck out there because when he parks at my house, he gets attacked by cicadas because they jump out of the tree.
Oh, yeah,
It's
for
almost
sure,
like
yeah.
they deliberately mess his car up because he parks in the shade and they just jump off the tree, dive bombing his car because they got to die, right? So they say, well, let's just go ahead and mess this guy's car. We're
The
gonna
worst
die.
thing is driving on the expressway and they're flying
yeah,
across.
Oh man,
It's
I tell you
awful.
what.
Just splat.
I'm telling you, when they get on you, it's the creepiest thing.
Yeah.
Like one got on my shirt the other day, and I could hear him in my ear, and I was like, "Oh man, I panicked, Mark. I was getting gas last night, and they have the lights on. It was like probably 10 o'clock, and all the bugs are flying around the lights. I'm like, come on, man. Like I just got like $10. I said, I'll just wait till the morning. I hate getting attacked by bugs, man.
You
It's
know,
creepy.
all these have brought back the old John Wayne Bobbitt joke. Remember that one?
No, tell us that.
Tell us the
Well,
joke.
remember he got his
Yeah.
Yes.
sausage cut off.
Yes.
And then she went down the road and threw it out the car.
Yeah.
Well, it landed on this old couple's windshield. And the guy, when it hit the windshield, he said, "Did you see the size of the dick on that bug?"
Oh wow! Okay, we just
What
lost
a bum.
man, we just lost another sponsor.
It's like those
Time to wrap it up, Stacey. Maybe
Oh,
read that Windy City Limo.
Yeah,
and
it's
we'll get
time
out
to
of here.
maybe we just get into Windy City Limousine and take off. Windy City Limousine provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy; it's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time. Contact them at 847-916-9300. That's 847-916-9300. WindyCityLimos.com if you're on the internet. And I will be using Windy City Limousine possibly on Wednesday, the Janet Jackson concert,
Oh,
baby.
there you go.
Oh, the pleasure principle. Oh.
And for all the
Yeah.
folks asking, who is Timmy Whispers? He's the guy that can kill every segment.
Yes.
He proves it on a weekly
Yes.
basis.
He's
Right
not-
here.
It's
He's
not
happy.
easy
Give
to
it
do.
outside.
He's the athlete's foot of this show. He just gets in your toes. You
Giving
can't get rid of him.
17-year-olds drinking advice in Evanston.
Wow.
Come on, what are you
Come
doing?
on,
What
man.
is
What are
this?
you doing?
It's an art. It's an art.
Wow. Kid never touched alcohol in his life. Little Phoenix
Yeah.
is like, I'm going to Northwestern.
Hey, remember when I
Wow.
asked what's his name if he had tried Sam Adams yet?
Oh, yeah. Oh, the 18-year-old
Jordan Wall
Jordan
is
Wall.
about to be an NBA champion.
About ready to be an NBA champion, 18 years old, and asked him has he had a Samuel Adams yet.
He's going to dedicate it to you in the locker room.
Watch him hold it up.
When he's got the
Wow.
champagne
The
bottle
whispers.
looking at it going, hey, that ain't Sam Adams.
Oh, wow. Man.
Whispers.
Whispers.
Yeah.
Whispers.
Oh,
It's an
what
art
would we do
form.
without you?
Oh, man.
Well, we'll try. Hey, next week is the NBA draft. As we mentioned earlier, it's over 2 days. The first round is on Wednesday. The second is on Thursday. We're going to bring you our show on Thursday at right around 6 o'clock live on YouTube, and then it'll be available on podcast form the next day. But until then, I know everybody's excited to see what the Bulls are going to do at number 11. We'll have our reviews on that and so much more on the next episode. But time for us to get out of here and watch Game 5 in the NBA Finals.
The Bulls are back, baby. We're back. Woo woo. I guarantee. Lonzo Ball, baby. We're coming back, baby. Run it back, baby. Woo woo woo. Drive home safe to Chicago, BB. Hey, what's up? This is Stacey King
And I'm Timmy Whispers.
of Give Me the Hot Sauce podcast. Each week, make sure you join us. Timmy Whispers, what do you need to hit?
They need to hit like and subscribe so they get all the notifications and news from our podcast.
That boy is sweet. Just make sure when the video's over, click to the left, and you'll hear our previous videos for the previous week and have some fun because we'd love to have fun on Give Me the Hot Sauce podcast.
Woohoo!
Oh my goodness! It's only preseason, but I'm hyped. Feel fine.